All right, welcome back to the Meet Us in the Ring podcast. As you can see, Maddie is not here today, but I have with me such an amazing person, been supporting the channel for a while now. It
Yes,
is Kicking It with Leo. How are you doing?
I am feeling great. I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, why don't you kind of tell us a little bit about you, promote your stuff, tell me everything.
Yeah, so my channel is Kicking with Leo. I've been doing wrestling content going on about 3 years now. I started in 2021, so I'm coming up on my 3 year anniversary as a wrestling content creator. I'm very excited for that. Um, my channel is Kicking with Leo. I'm doing wrestling content. I'm on the road to 250 subscribers. Once I do
Yes.
hit 10K, I will be doing a giveaway with one of my lucky fans. We'll have the opportunity to win a WWE Championship from WWE Shop. So if you want to have the opportunity to go do so,
Oh,
subscribe to my channel. It's absolutely free.
wait, are like our friends allowed to enter? Because
Everybody's allowed. Everybody's allowed to enter. Everybody's allowed to enter. I'm not going to limit it.
well, so how long have you been watching wrestling?
I so crazy to think, like I said, I'm going on 3 years as a content creator, but I've been watching wrestling for 20 years. I'm coming up on 20 years as a
What?
yeah. I started watching wrestling in 2003. I
That's
started
crazy.
very early. Um, I'm coming up on 20 years. I believe it's the 15th. I will be making 20 years as a wrestling fan, so I'm very
Wow.
excited for that too.
I know, like I was kind of like a on and off person. So like I watched when I was little, like with my brother, and then kind of stopped for a while and then got back into it again and then stopped again. And then I've been like consistently watching, I would say, since like 2015. So kind of it was kind of stop and go for me for a while. But and who's your favorite wrestler? I don't think I know this about you.
We're talking all time or currently.
Both.
Currently, right now, I gotta say Finn Balor is one of my favorites right now.
Okay,
Finn Balor is
love
one of my
that.
favorites. All
Maddie will
time,
love that.
all time, I gotta go Randy Orton. I love me some Randy Orton, especially some sadistic 2008 Randy Orton. I really
That's valid. That's valid. I love
do.
face. I love Face Orton though. He's so good.
He's gonna turn heel soon, but hey,
Yeah. Well, we can talk about that later when we go through the Money in the Bank predictions, which is mostly what we're here for today. But I want to talk about a few other things before we get to that. On Monday on Raw, we saw a little clip of Bo doing an interview with Uncle Howdy, which, like, is he interviewing himself? Is it supposed to be like a in his head type of thing where he's interviewing himself, you know? And Nikki Cross obviously gave Michael Cole the VHS tape. By the way,
mm-hmm.
shout out to Michael Cole for holding it down for two
Yeah,
hours by himself. Like, I'm sorry, he's the GOAT. But
he's gotta
anyway,
be.
how do you feel about them kind of incorporating this real life death of Bray Wyatt into
Mm-hmm.
the Wyatt Six storyline?
Um, I think they really executed it very well, just because I think they incorporated a lot of the things that the fans were saying, that he's not really going to do much. He's just gonna pretty much mark and pretty much be a mark on Bray Wyatt's name. But I think if you got to understand that they were brothers at the end of the day. They had a lot of conversations, and it gave me goosebumps because I really would love to see what Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas really could have been able to do together, because he talked
Yeah.
about, they wanted to reach the top of the mountain together. And you look at even when they were in NXT, when they were in 2013, even though they were brothers, and I didn't even know this until like later on, I really would have wished he could have been a part of the Wyatt family back then, because I think he would have added a great spin on things, especially
Hmm.
you had Bray Wyatt look like the main eventer, you had the tag team especially, then you brought in Braun Strowman over time. But even before that, you could have had Bo Dallas be part of and been like that mid card guy, because
Hmm.
he's able to do some great work when given the chance. And I really hope that they really go all in with them here.
Yeah, I mean, I was a big fan of Bo Dallas when he was doing the Bo Leave
Yeah.
thing. Like, I loved it, but to me, it's just I got really emotional during this segment on Raw because he looks so much like Bray. Like obviously,
He
they're
does.
siblings and siblings
Hmm.
can look alike, but like he just looks so much like him that it just like made me emotional. And I I applaud him for being willing to kind of bring that rawness and that realness into the storyline. And I think they did it tastefully. Like I don't think it was tacky or like
No.
you know what I'm trying to say. So
Yeah, I do.
um, I liked it, and I'm really excited to see where we go from here. Let me get your opinion. Do you think that Bray is the sixth member, or do you think they're gonna bring in somebody else?
Honestly, I've been kind of going back and forth with this one because you can always bring in Alexa because I know that's been pretty much what everybody's speculating.
Hmm.
But I would love it as much as I think Alexa will be great in this world. I think she can do other things. I think when she comes back, she can be the goddess because I think that's what she's known for. I think that's what a lot of people want to see, including myself.
Yeah.
Like that's what made me fall in love with Alexa Bliss as a wrestler.
Hmm.
I think Bray Wyatt should be the sixth member, pretty much like the spirit of Bray Wyatt, and
Yeah.
they can kind of incorporate like the lantern, like that they've been using as its own entity. I think that's what I would love to see is they can kind of blur the lines of being, their natural selves. But then when you see have someone like a Bray Wyatt speared around, it can kind of change the perspective on everybody in the group, honestly. So I would love to see
Hmm.
Bray Wyatt as the sixth.
I agree with you. I feel like the original plan was for Alexa to be in Nikki's position, but
Hmm.
since Alexa had her baby and all that stuff, I'm glad they put Nikki in that role because I think it suits her very well. She's really good with that like creepy stuff.
Yeah, she really
So
is.
I like the direction that they're taking with it, and I'm excited to see what else they do.
Agreed.
Um, so you had mentioned off camera that you were going to be streaming a whole bunch this week. Are
Yeah,
you going to be streaming NXT Heatwave? Are you going to be watching?
I actually am. I'm gonna be watching NXT Heatwave, Raw, pretty much everything for the most part. Yeah, I am.
Well, so how do you feel about Roxanne versus Lola Vice and then Kaylani versus Sol Ruka? Who do you got in those?
I think Roxanne's gonna retain. I love Lola Vice. I love what they've been doing with her. I think they have to turn her face at some point. I know she's kind of been, operating as a tweener as of late,
Yeah,
but I think she really should go full face because I think the crowd just loves her. I would love to see what she can do. I think she will be a great chaser just because I feel like when they had the WWE draft, they kind of gutted the women's roster of a lot of the main event players. So
yeah,
I would think you could build up some new stars, and which they have been doing, but I think we need to see more of it. Maybe you could bring in other women from other companies since they've been doing, the TNA stuff and the Marigold stuff. I think you can incorporate some women from those rosters into NXT to get NXT a little bit more buzz because they've really been cooking as of late. And
yeah,
then North American, this one's tough because both of them are face right now. Like both of them are face. And the way I see it happening, I feel like Kalani might turn heel in this match. I really
mm,
feel like she's gonna turn heel just because I think when you look at the ladder match, I think nobody was really looking at her as a potential winner just because it was very stacked. And it's
yeah,
crazy to think that I kind of called it. She was gonna be a dark horse in the match they probably could go with. But I think she needed a little bit more building, just a little bit more before they put the title on her. I think it was really made for Soruka to win, maybe a last legend even. But they went with Kalani, and I think putting two of your top faces in a match for the title is only gonna end in like one way. It's that either most of the time when you see faces face each other, that it always ends in like someone turning heel, and I don't think
hmm,
Soruka is over as she is gonna turn heel. Would that be surprising? Absolutely. But I think out of the two, Kalani could probably benefit, by being a heel because she can really cook. I feel like,
yeah. I think what's hard with that though is that then you would have two women's champions who are both heels on NXT. And it's
yeah,
like you kind of need a face champion to kind of have that balance.
balance it out.
But
Yeah,
I could see Kehlani turning at some point. I definitely did not have her picked for the North American Championship. I thought, well, I was rooting for Mia Yim, but I could have seen Lash Legend and also Soruka. But yeah, I did not expect that at all. That was a huge surprise to me. But as far as those matches go, for me, I'm okay if Lola Vice takes the title from Roxanne because I think Roxanne is ready for the main roster if they want to bring her up at some point. But as far as North American, I think it's too early to take the title off Kelani. Like, she just won it. So I think it's too early. And if they were going to pull the plug that fast, then they shouldn't have plugged it in the first place, you know? But I'm excited for those matches. I think they'll both be excellent matches as well. With Lola Vice, though, I need her to decide if her aura is going to be, hey, I'm a badass MMA fighter, or hey, I'm going to be over here twerking in a circle. I need her to pick. I can't have both.
I agree. I mean, but I think that kind of makes her a little bit more relatable. I mean, she can really, cut both corners when given the chance. I mean, like you said, she can be very aggressive. I mean, we've seen what she was able to do with Shayna Baszler. Now, I think Shayna Baszler should have won. If you beat Ronda Rousey, you should have won that match. I just don't understand it, but I get it if you want to put a new star over. But I think that kind of makes her more relatable. I mean, she can turn both being a good person, but she can really be aggressive and have fun at the same time.
That's valid. I see where you're coming from. Oh, I wanted to give a shout out to Ash by Elegance for winning her first, I believe it's her first women's title. I didn't even see her shirt. That's incredible.
Yep.
I want her pink shirt so bad. But
I'm gonna actually cop that literally within the next.
The pink one?
Yes. Because I already have two Dana Brooke shirts, so I have to add her newest one too with my collection.
Okay. I was someone who always rooted for Dana Brooke. Like I was in her corner, and it was so hard because everybody's like, "Oh, she's trash," but like she's not. She just wasn't used right, and I'm literally so happy for her that she won her first women's title. And like, yeah, she won the 24/7 title, but like
15 times. But
who
counts that?
Yeah, nobody counts that. So I'm so happy for her. I believe it was it's World Series Wrestling. That's the promotion, and it's in Australia, which is really cool. I didn't know that, like, I guess I didn't know that she could do that since she's in TNA, but like I guess since they're coming over to WWE too, I guess TNA is kind of cool with them being in other places.
Yeah, because TNA kind of does like the little partnership, just like WWE. Honestly, TNA is kind of under the same type of umbrella as like the Endeavor thing, so that's kind of part of it. But I'm with you. I'm a big Dana Brooke fan myself. I've been her since like 2015. Like you said, WWE never really gave her a chance to do much. I mean, she was very over in 2019. They could have easily put the Money in the Bank contract on her. I think either 2019 or 2020. I think either one of those years would have made sense. I know Bayley won in 2019, and I know Asuka won in 2020, but you could have easily gotten away with Dana winning, honestly.
Yeah, well, I guess some people count the 24/7 title, but
I mean, and this is like you were saying, she won that championship, and literally later this month, she's competing against Jordynne Grace.
Yes,
for the Knockouts Championship, which that match is pretty much been teased for like 6 months. Like, long-term storytelling, and now she's finally getting it. And I think she's gonna be 2 belts Ash. I'm calling it out.
That would be, oh my gosh, that'd be so incredible. Like, I'm happy that she found kind of found her place in TNA, and I think she got lost in WWE. And I was a big fan of her when she first came up to the main roster, when she was with Charlotte, and she was kind of like, she wasn't Charlotte's bodyguard, but like her protege. And she was a lot buffer back then. She kind of toned down as the years went on, and I think that almost hurt her in a way, that she wasn't that like buff anymore. And I think she kind of got lost in the mix. But I'm so happy for her now because my girl has a
It's
championship.
cooking. Like they
I
know what they're
know.
doing, and I called it when she Sally got released. I was very upset just
Yeah,
because she
me
was my
too.
favorite to watch. And I told myself she's gonna go to TNA and they're gonna go all in with her. And she showed up at Hard to Kill, which I was watching, and I lost it. And I was very excited for her, and I'm very excited to see what she does next. They did. I mean, and honestly, it's crazy to think. I was at the last show that she was at before she went to NXT.
Really?
I was at a Raw and she was on main event and it was in her in Houston. And this was like the last show that she was on before she got moved over to NXT.
Hmm.
So I was very excited when she got moved to NXT because I felt like they were gonna do something, and they were. She was literally
Yeah.
putting in. It just felt like you had her in a high-profile storyline where she was about to turn heel on Kalani, possibly start her own faction, and then boom, she got released. I'm like,
Like
really?
she went to NXT. She was cooking in NXT.
Yep.
Same as Mustafa. And
What?
then they released them like around the same time. And I'm like,
How
what
can we
what are
do
y'all
this?
doing?
Why? And I usually don't pay attention to rumors and stuff like that a lot of times, but this one was actually confirmed at WrestleMania 33 because I know you told me that she was at
Mhm.
33. She was supposed to be part of that Fatal 4-Way women's title match, but
Really?
it was supposed to be originally a Fatal 5 with Dana, Charlotte, Bailey, Sasha, and Nia.
Interesting.
But because they felt like when she was coming up, they felt like they kind of brought up too early. She was kind of
Mm.
botching, so they kind of pulled the plug on her push a little bit. But man, if they would have put her in that
Oh,
match, she would have probably killed it.
that's so
They could have.
unfortunate.
They could have made a new
But
star, especially when she left Charlotte.
yeah, but I'm happy for her regardless. If you guys aren't watching her on TNA, you should because I've seen the clips on like Instagram and stuff. She's killing it over there. So
Yep.
could she be two belts? I don't know because
Yes.
I don't know if they're ready to take it off Jordan Grace yet. But
She's had it for 6 months. She's had it for 6 months. I feel like Dana or Ash is like the last person you can really put up against because I don't think she's pretty much went through the entire roster already. So
that's fair.
why not have a bunch of faces going up against this new Ash by Elegance as champion? Because I think that would be really cool. Because if you really think about it, Slammiversary is almost like the WrestleMania of TNA. Like they
Hmm.
do a lot of big moments, and I think the last time I actually watched Slammiversary, we seen Trinity. She won the Knockouts Championship at that show. So why not have Ash be crowned at that show as well?
And I'm glad that she went to TNA instead of AEW.
Oh, I agree.
I'm glad she did that
As she even
because
said
she's
she
thriving.
had offers. As she said she had offers
Oh.
for AEW, but she said, I felt like I was getting the creative freedom in TNA, and she felt like it was a better fit for her naturally
Mhm.
to own her craft and really come up with something interesting. And I was glad she didn't go to AEW because if you look at the track record, they have somebody come in, they have a good feud to start off, and then boom, they're gone for a couple months and we don't see them.
Mhm.
There's no follow up.
Yeah. And I know that both Tony Storm and Soraya are on Forbidden Door.
They are.
Um, Ruby's still out because she's pregnant, right? She's still
Yeah, she is.
okay. Okay. I don't know. I don't know when she's due. I don't really keep up with that stuff, but but I'm assuming she'll come. She'll come back to AEW afterwards. Um,
Easily.
oh, such nice comments in the chat, by the way. What's up, chat? Cap said, "How many days has Jordan Grace been champion?" You said like 6 months, right?
Yeah, she's been champ for 6 months. She won it on the 14th of January. That's got to at least be
Oh,
like 200 plus.
yeah. I don't know what the day count is. Someone also mentioned Mercedes Monet. Yeah, um, she's thriving in AEW right now. She's champion, but we'll see what happens
Good
at Forbidden
chance.
Door.
Yeah, I agree.
So we'll move on to Money in the Bank because we're here for the predictions because it's literally this Saturday. We don't have the full card technically because we still have a women's qualifying match
And a man.
tomorrow and a
Yep.
men's. So for the women's, we have Dakota Kai versus Ivy Nile versus Zoe Stark. Who do you have for that?
I'm gonna say she's where I like this wrestler because she's very underrated. I hope they give her a chance because she needs it. She deserves it. And that's Dakota Kai. Like, how many times are we gonna pull the rug from underneath her? I get it. She's pretty much been seen as injury prone, but
Mm-hmm.
like even when she wasn't injured, they still did run with her, and I think this would be a great opportunity to kind of get her back in the mix just a little bit. Even though I don't think she's gonna win, but give her something to do.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people hoping that it's Dakota Kai that she'll be put into the match, and I saw that she was like she was streaming on Twitch and she was kind of like begging for an opportunity, and so maybe they'll give her that opportunity. But I think they're gonna put Zoe back in the match for year two
Ooh,
because
I don't know.
I think Zoe got lost with Trish being in the match last year,
Right.
and I think she needs some redemption. And so I would like to see Zoe in the match again, and I think she's a potential winner. I mean,
Potential.
I don't think she's gonna win, but
I
I'm just
know.
saying.
I just think the only thing with Zoe is like I do like her move set, like her finisher. I love that's like one of my favorite finishers right now. But I
Hmm.
just think the thing is with her being in the Money in the Bank, I think it's better off to have them face for the tag titles because that's what they have been teasing between
Hmm.
Shayna and Zoe going after those tag titles. Maybe they add that as a potential match at Money in the Bank. Maybe they hold off for Raw or SummerSlam. I
Hmm.
think that's inevitable that we're gonna get that tag title match between the two.
What, Shayna and Zoe
Zoe going up
versus?
against the Unholy Union. I think that's what we're
Yeah,
taking towards.
which I want Zoe and Shayna to be tag team champions. I think they
Yeah.
would. I think they would run the division.
Oh, easily.
Besides Jade and Bianca, who obviously would also run the division. But as far as the men's qualifying match, we have Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, and Ilya Dragunov.
I think Drew is going to win this one.
What?
I think Drew, because here's the thing. And allow me to kind of play a little fantasy booking. I
Okay,
think
go ahead.
Drew is going to win. They're going to set it up where it looks like he's gonna win at Money in the Bank. He's about to unhook the briefcase, and CM Punk screws him again for the third time to set up SummerSlam. Now I've been seeing people as go all out and say maybe AJ Lee comes out and screws Drew. If that happens,
Down, I'll cry.
I would because he did take the bracelet with Larry and AJ's name on it.
True,
AJ can look at
true.
that as disrespect, and she's coming to avenge CM Punk. So they can do either or. They can do either or, and I would be fine with it. You can send
Hmm.
Larry the dog to come out there and start barking at him, and I would laugh. I would get invested.
Well, if I can see that route with Drew being in it and then CM Punk screwing him again, but I'd rather have Ilya. I think that Money in the Bank needs to be about rising up new stars, and
Right.
if you're just gonna put it on people who have either already won world championships or have had the Money in the Bank briefcase before, like, to me it just seems pointless.
Yeah.
Could Io be the first woman to win back to back? I don't think so, but
Nope.
and also someone had brought up no woman has ever unsuccessfully cashed in.
Yeah.
Do you think that could be where we're going next, or do you think we'll keep on the trend of them being successful?
The only person in the match that I can see winning and would cash in unsuccessfully, and as much as I would hate to say this, is Chelsea Green because I love me some
Oh,
Chelsea Green.
I
I think
know.
her character fits the mold of what a Money in the Bank winner should be, like picking your opportunities
Hmm.
wisely and capitalizing when your opponent's down. She fits the mold perfectly. But for whatever reason, I feel like in a world that we're in right now, she would cash in unsuccessfully. Would I want it? No. Who I think will win is Tiffany Stratton. I think Tiffany Stratton will win because Allow me to play fantasy booking here. I think Nia wins at SummerSlam against Bailey, and we've been seeing this little partnership, so to speak, between Tiffany and Nia, or Queen Nia,
Hmm.
I should say. And it gave me flashbacks to a couple years ago where they had Alexa Bliss as the women's champion, and then we had Nia Jax, right?
Yeah.
And pretty much Alexa was manipulating Nia. But this time the roles are kind of would be reversed because we know people don't like Nia. Now she's good in the ring. She's definitely better than she was a couple years ago. I'll give her
Agreed.
that. I would say this is her best run. She's doing the best work of her career.
Agreed.
But I think at SummerSlam or some point after, because people love them some Tiffany Stratton. People love to cheer her. And I think she cashes in on Nia and becomes your new WWE Women's Champion.
Hold on. Okay, but then that means that Nia's beating Bailey, and I don't approve of that.
I don't either, but like, it's bound to happen the way they're setting it up, though. It's bound to happen.
Well, since we're already
Tiffany,
kind of talking about that match, we'll talk about the women's Money in the Bank ladder match first. I don't remember last year which ladder match went first.
the men started off the show, and then I
Okay.
think the women's match was like, I think the last three matches of the show, or
Okay,
co-main
so
event.
then they'll probably start with the women's this year because I feel like they've been trading off in recent
Yeah.
years where they'll switch them. But so in the women's Money in the Bank, we still don't know the sixth person, but we have Io, Chelsea Green, Lyra Valkyria, Tiffany Stratton, and Naomi, and then whoever is going to win the other qualifying match. Um, you know what? Here's the thing. I think the winner is for sure coming from SmackDown. It's either going to be Naomi, Tiffany, or Chelsea.
Naomi
And
deserves it. Gosh.
I have so many different feelings because I'm ready for Tiffy time. I'm
Yes.
ready for Chelsea in the Bank, but I'm also ready to feel the glow and have that glow briefcase.
Wow.
So I'm just so torn. I'm so
Yeah.
torn. In my heart of hearts, I would want Naomi to win, but and I want to predict that they're going to give it to Tiffany, but everything that happened like last month with her social media and all that stuff, I don't know if they're still kind of
On the fence
punishing
about that,
her.
yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think they know though that Tiffany's the best option for this.
Plus that briefcase, if she would have make that pink briefcase, would really
Oh
look
my
good
god.
with fans.
I would buy
Like,
that in a heartbeat.
easily. Now I would say Naomi. I think a lot of people rule out Naomi, but I think the only way that will work, because they've been doing this little partnership between Naomi and Bailey.
Hmm.
Imagine she wins and she turns heel.
I mean,
Naomi as a heel, I feel like people are gonna be in for a treat, honestly.
the thing with that is that I need Naomi and Jimmy to be on the same team. So if Jimmy's going to be turning face though because of everything that's going on with the bloodline, then I would need
Hmm.
Naomi to still be face. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I just don't know. I don't know if I'm ready for that. So
You have a
I'm
year,
I'm
so
gonna I'm gonna predict that Tiffany is winning Money in the Bank.
I agree.
Even though Chelsea in the Bank would be hysterical, and I love that she's saying that she wants to make the title the Divas title
Oh
again.
Lord, people would
It's
be
so
so
good.
upset. We just got sent back 10 years if that happened.
Hey,
Don't set us back 10 years.
I loved the Divas title though, so
I liked it. I just didn't like the way they were booking it.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Well, AJ
I
made
did,
sense though.
yeah, I just think it's really funny that she said that, and it got everybody talking, and that's exactly what she wanted. Um, so we're both going Tiffany for that one.
Mm-hmm. Tippy time.
All right. Next, we'll talk about the bathroom break. Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker.
Ooh. I have there's two ways that this match is gonna play out, and one, Sammy retains because of DQ, where Braun gets ahead of himself. And what we've been seeing, I know people have been talking about Ricochet. I know he's been still being used and been featured, and usually it makes and it's got me thinking because when somebody's about to leave the company, they usually don't mention them. They don't say anything about them. They just say they got injured and that's that. But for Ricochet, they've still been mentioning his name on
Hmm.
Raw as of late. Now, when he got taken out, a lot of people said, "Oh, he's gone," and that's always a possibility. I wouldn't rule it out. But what if when he got taken out, this was going to be the rebirth of Ricochet, but he comes back as Prince Puma because they were talking about this on commentary like the last
Oh
couple of
my
months.
gosh,
And they
Michael
don't just
Cole
say
and
something
Pat.
and they're not going to deliver. Prince Puma and Ricochet are two different characters.
Yeah.
Prince Puma is more aggressive. He's more straightforward. He doesn't really come off as a face. He doesn't come off as a heel. If he just has a problem with you, he's going to deal with you. Simple. Anybody got it. You look at Lucha Underground. Even women were catching the beats from Prince Puma. He didn't care who you were.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I seen that he pretty much went against Frankie Monet or
Oh.
what's her Taya Valkyria right now. He
Hmm.
he attacked her, super kicked her. But the other way I think this is gonna play out in Braun, I think Braun Breaker could win, and I think we're getting a repeat of 2014 SummerSlam where we seen Brock Lesnar squash John Cena. Now I don't like looking back at that, but the way they've been booking Braun right now, I think you could get away with him being this new monster, and he just obliterates Sami Zayn and takes that championship.
It's giving Goldberg vibes, and I don't like it.
I mean, Braun Breaker's a better version of Goldberg. Let's be
Well,
honest, but that's neither here or there.
yeah. I I'm with you on I could see it go both ways. I feel like they've really been I feel like Triple H has been making a point of letting people win in their home countries, except for Zelina. She's the only one who did. But so I think because Sammy lost at Elimination Chamber against Roman Reigns, I think he's gonna win now against Braun Breaker. So I think Sammy's still gonna retain, and then I'm hoping SummerSlam, if it's him and Chad Gable or whoever, I hope
Right.
that we get a new champion.
Mm-hmm. I
I
can
think
see
it's
that
still gonna be a good it's gonna be a good showing regardless.
easily.
But I'm not ready for Braun to hold a title yet. Also, okay, how do you feel? We have too many Brawns, okay? We have
Oh,
Braun Breaker, we have Braun Strowman, we have Bronson Reed. And they're all on the same roster.
can we just make a triple threat match? This might sound like me playing 2K here, but please make a triple threat match. The two losers, y'all gotta have to come up with a different name. Go backstage, have a talk with Triple H and the rest of the creative.
Hmm.
Maybe they can come up with a new name for you.
Yeah,
Maybe
something. And like
something because
just because Braun and Braun are spelled differently doesn't make it better.
no, I can't. I
Oh my gosh, this comment.
please no.
Braun Breaker versus Goldberg versus Brock in the squash match of all squash
Now I did say I would love to see Braun Breaker versus Brock Lesnar. That
matches.
was in my original prediction for SummerSlam, but it
Hmm.
doesn't look like that's gonna happen. Maybe next year for Minnesota
Ugh. I don't
or
want Brock
whenever they're
Lesnar
doing it in
back though.
Minnesota. It seems inevitable that he's gonna come back at some point. I feel like it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, I have Sammy retaining for this. What's your official answer?
I'm gonna say Braun Breaker.
Okay.
I think Braun Breaker's gonna take it here.
All right. Well, next we have Seth Rollins versus Damian Priest for the World Championship. I don't
Oh Lord,
I don't know.
I don't
I
either
don't know.
because they can go either way with this one. I can
I
see them keeping Damon as champion. But if we're looking at whatever the match they're gonna go with for SummerSlam on paper,
mhm.
Seth Rollins versus Gunther is the better match on paper. In ring would be the better match, and I feel like I love Damian Priest. I'm loving him as world champion. I think they've been doing a great job with him.
Mhm.
Um, but I think all good things must come to an end. I think when you had that promo last week between Seth and Damian and the implications of this match, where Seth said, if I lose, I won't challenge you as long as you're champion.
Mm-hmm.
But if Damian loses, he must leave the Judgment Day. Now
Yeah.
off rip, I'm like, okay, Damian still will win, but he kind of hammered it home that he would lose because he said the Judgment Day need me a lot more than I need them. And then you
First of
had that
all,
visual.
rude. Rude.
Rude. It is. And then on top of that, you had that visual where you had Finn Balor kind of have in cahoots with Liv Morgan, and then you've been having
Mm-hmm.
Liv Morgan trying to work her way in the Judgment Day, and then you've been having her work like do all these favors for Judgment Day and even help them get a title match and help them win. I think it hammers it home that Damien's probably gonna lose because I can see, Liv getting in Damien not Damien, but Finn's ear, and Finn kind of cost Priest the match. Because if you go back to last year, I thought Finn Balor was going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it wasn't at Money in the Bank or at SummerSlam, he should have won. I can see Liv getting in his ear and says, don't forget about what happened last year. You had that title won until Damien cost you. And he gets so upset, he cost Damien the title.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't want it because I would love to see Finn Balor finally get a world title again. But I don't think that's what's going to happen, especially after they gave him the tag titles. I don't think that's happening. So I'm
Yeah,
going to say Seth wins.
I was really surprised that Finn and JD won the tag titles. I did not see that coming at all. I loved Awesome Truth having the titles. It was a fun
Yeah.
thing on Raw. But I I think I actually agree with you. I think Seth Rollins is gonna win. Damien's gonna leave the Judgment Day because they want him to be a single star. And but I don't know where that leaves the Judgment Day. You know? Like
I mean,
because Rhea's gonna come back. Okay, so Rhea's gonna
eventually.
be in charge, I'm assuming. And then, it's Finn and JD and Dom and now Carlito. Like, are they gonna make him a full member?
I feel like the way they're setting things up, I think when Rhea does come back, it will kind of shake, the landscape of what the Judgment Day could be like. But
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you're looking at it, Finn can come out there and he says, Liv Morgan has done more for me than you have. And you're supposed to be
Mm.
my brother. You're supposed to be the quote unquote leader since Rhea Ripley stepped down and took time off because of
Mm-hmm.
injury. I feel like the new Judgment Day will consist of Liv, Finn, JD, and Carlito. And you can have Dom kind of be in limbo of not really knowing what to do. And then he makes his decision once we get this Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan match, whether that's at SummerSlam or if they hold off until Bad Blood, because that's
Mm-hmm.
been in rumors to happen. If they were to do that match at either one of those pay-per-views, maybe even Bash in Berlin, either one of those three pay-per-views, then you have Dom make his decision and he turns on Rhea aligning with Liv. I think the new Judgment Day is going to consist of them. Rhea gets kicked out. She aligns with Damian Priest, because those are like the Terror Twins. They're attached at the
Yeah.
hip. They're always going to have each other's back no matter what. And Damian's the only one that's pretty much have not been doing want anything to do with the Liv. Everybody else has pretty much been okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's going to come into play. You have this new, faction of the Judgment Day. Maybe Damian and Rhea decide to align with other wrestlers that may have they've done wrong, but will align with them. Maybe they get Rey Mysterio. This is kind of how you can get back to
Oh.
maybe next year's Rey Mysterio, WrestleMania with Rey versus Dom, part two, singles. So I think maybe if they do Survivor Series, I would love to see Judgment Day versus Rhea Ripley, Damian, and whoever else they have on their team.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they're working towards.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I love Liv being on her own, but I would be okay with her being in the faction for Judgment Day.
Yeah.
But
So,
I love Rhea so much, and when those two collide, like
ooh,
I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know.
I love both, but I'm gonna go Team Liv on this one. I think honestly, Liv is gonna have a long reign. I don't see her dropping that title until
Okay.
Mania. I think she's gonna lose it at Mania.
Mm. Yeah, I don't appreciate her defending the title on Raw tomorrow against Zelina. I'm hoping that there'll be a DQ and then they'll actually have that match at Money in the Bank, but we'll see.
Yeah, agreed.
Um, we'll move on to the 6-man tag, which is Cody, Randy, and KO versus the Budget Line. Shout out to Maddie, Solo,
That's a good name.
Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. After what they did to Paul Heyman, they need to lose. They need to lose
Man,
after what they did
I
to that
called it.
man.
They killed this man on live television. I told this man, I was streaming, mind you, and I told, and the way they said this, they said, Jacob wasn't here, but we're
Hmm.
gonna have do some type of acknowledgement ceremony, and you're gonna be there. I said, Paul Heyman, please go get your bags, go to your locker room, get your clothes, take a shower, whatever you need to do, but please leave the building immediately because they are about to try to kill you. And then this man says, I don't acknowledge you as my tribal chief.
Hmm.
I marked out because he stayed loyal to Roman, but that man got packed up and sent to the upper room
Oh,
swiftly.
but shout out to Paul Heyman for being willing to do that spot because, sir, you are too old to be doing this.
Man, then we
they
got the
they
team weekend over here, or team weekday, so to speak.
oh,
Uh, yeah, this is the weekday. They're not the weekend. This is weekday right here. Uh, man,
but who do you think's gonna win?
honestly, I agree with you were saying that I think they should lose. But if the plan is to do Solo versus Cody for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam, which I don't think needs to happen, if anything, if they want to do a bloodline match, have Jacob Fatu versus Cody. Now I can buy into that. I can buy into Jacob because that man is a
He's scary.
natural born killer.
Yeah, he's
If I
scary.
seen this man, if I'm passing up an alley and I seen this man, I'm giving him all my money and I'm just going to turn the other direction and I'm going to forget whatever happened. Simple. But
Hmm.
I think if they're going to set up Solo versus Cody, I think we're going to have some blood interference. You have that extra
Yeah.
man. Now I think Jimmy Uso returns at Money in the Bank to try to even the odds. And then maybe when the ref is not looking, something happens. And I think Solo pins Cody.
Oh, don't say that.
I
Don't
think
say
if they're
that.
going to set up that match, that's the only way I can see them legit winning that match, setting that match
Hmm.
up.
I would like to see Jay come out and be their fourth person and kind of stand up to his family, but we'll see. It might be too soon for that.
Yeah, I think they're going to wait a while before they have Jay be incorporated.
Yeah. Um, I think based on my other predictions, I have Sammy retaining and then Seth winning. So I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm kind of.
a
I've already
heel's going to
picked.
win at some
I
point.
know I've already picked two faces. So I guess I'm gonna predict that the budget line's winning, and I'm really sad about it.
I am too. The weekday for the win.
All right, and last but not least, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Which okay, this might be a hot take, but it's not giving the way that the women's is giving.
Not.
It's
It's
not. We
not.
have Jay Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Chad Gable, LA Knight, and then to be determined.
Which I feel like to
It's
be true.
to me, it's just it's not giving.
And I don't like how they set up them. I mean, I like the concept that they're doing with whoever hasn't been champion is getting an opportunity. Was good, my guy. It was good. Uh, so if you want to do process elimination, right?
Hmm.
I love Andrade. They haven't really been doing much with him. He's not winning. Carmelo,
Is he still? Sorry, really quick. Is he still the speed champion?
yes, he
Okay.
is. Carmelo, love him. Has a great bright future.
Hmm.
I think his ceiling right now, I think honestly, he'll be US champ by the end of this year. LA Knight should have won last year, but didn't. They gave it to Damien.
Hmm.
He's not winning because I feel like with him qualifying, Logan's gonna screw him over.
Yeah. And then
And
they'll probably
then,
have a match at SummerSlam.
exactly, because that's the match of SummerSlam. It
Yeah.
really, and Drew's not winning. He's going to get screwed. It comes down to these two people, Jey Uso or Chad Gable.
Hmm.
Those are the only two I can see winning. I love Jey Uso. Think he deserves it. I think this is the last opportunity to really make a statement as being main event Jey Uso, because they've been having called him main event Jey Uso, but when it comes to these big matches, he does not get the win.
Hmm.
Now, the way I can see him, if he will win, I could see him having a transitional reign, and that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. I think if he were to, I can see if they were to do this match early in the show, he cashes in and becomes world champion at Money in the Bank if he
Ooh.
were to win, because he has history with the Judgment Day because they screwed him over at Backlash,
Karma to Damien.
and plus he was inches away from beating Gunther for that Intercontinental Championship.
Hmm.
So you can easily revisit that, and you can have them, have a long feud with them.
Yeah.
But I love Jey Uso, but I don't think he's going to win. I think Chad Gable is going to win and be declared master in the bank. I think when you had that segment when you had the Alpha Academy leave, you had a segue where you had the Creeds and Ivy go up to him and they said, "Are you okay?"
Hmm.
And he was like, "No, I need help." And I feel like they are going to end up interfering and help him win.
But also, the Wyatt Six is after him,
Exactly.
though.
That Wyatt Six is the only way I can see him actually getting cost the match, because they have been targeting him.
Yeah.
Now, when you say that, you know what? Chad Gable is a dark horse. Main event Jey Uso it is. They kind of spoiled it. I was gonna say it. That's what I don't like. They kind of have him on the poster with the yeet in the bank. Please
Oh
stop
my
doing
gosh,
it.
yeah.
Stop doing that, WWE. Stop doing that. I want to be surprised. I don't want it to be a foregone conclusion that, oh,
Yeah.
he's gonna win.
Yeah, they shouldn't put one person on the poster like that.
No,
But
no more.
I'm also going with Jey Uso though. I think it's gonna be Yeet in the Bank.
Similar to Tiffany, those if they do a yeet in the bank briefcase, that's gonna sell.
Hmm. And honestly, I don't want to say that kind of stuff plays a factor in the winner
Not
now, but
really.
like I don't know, the Senior Money in the Bank stuff was good, and people bought those briefcases. So
I'm jealous I
I
didn't.
the purple was cool, but if Tiffany wins and it's a pink briefcase, I'm
Oh, I'm
gonna be
copping
all
that.
over that. I'll
I'm
be
copping
all over
both.
that.
I will cop the Tiffany one and I will cop the J one in a heartbeat. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, someone said Money in the Yeet. I don't know. I think Yeet in the Bank.
Yeet in the bank sounds better. Money in the yeet. I don't know that.
It's like, well, yeah. So we're
I
both
don't.
going, but I mean, there could be an upset tomorrow, and Ilya Dragunov or Sheamus could be in the match instead of Drew, and
Absolutely,
that could shake the whole thing up. We're just gonna have to see.
they could.
But um, as far as Liv and Zelina tomorrow, what do you think is gonna happen?
Liv is retaining. I love Zelina. I think she's very underrated. She
Yeah.
can cut a mean promo.
Oh,
This when she came out on Raw and just declared Liv, and then they were just saying sloppy seconds. I'm like, this ain't PG. And then Triple H, Hammered at Home talking about when they go to Netflix, it's gonna be very unscripted.
mm-hmm.
Now, I'm interested to see if this flirting leads to something very un-PG,
Oh.
especially with them going to Netflix, because they can get away
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of stuff. But I just feel like they're kind of doing Liv the way they were doing Rhea. Like Rhea, she was champion and she made her presence felt, and Liv's doing the same, but she didn't really defend it a ton. I
Yeah.
want to see Liv have the title, and I'm glad that she's champion, but I want to see her defend it more. And then, so she can have a couple of wins under her belt. So when she eventually does lose it, we can look back at the reign and say, okay, this reign is better. And already it is
Mhm.
just because of the character work that she's putting in alone, honestly. So I want to see more from her. They're kind of having her mock Rhea in a sense because Rhea faced Zelina at Backlash, and Zelina was
Mhm.
Rhea's first opponent. So I think they're kind of doing a mirroring here and have Zelina be Liv's first opponent for the championship. So I think that's kind of what they're doing.
I think Zelina's a good pick for this because her promo skills will make Liv work that much harder. Because Zelina is such a pro on the mic. Like I
Yeah.
love her. I've loved her for such a long time. They're both my girls, and so like them being against each other, I'm so torn. I love them both so much, but um, I'm hoping that there will be a DQ and then this match will be moved to Money in the Bank, because I really want that for Liv to be on the pay per view.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, let us know your guys' predictions in the comments. Leo, thank you so much for being here and filling in for Maddie. Well, she should be back next week because I miss my girl. I need her here. But we'll definitely have you on again because this was such a fun conversation.
Appreciate it.
Is there any final things you want to say? Anything you want to add?
No, we pretty much spoken everything we needed to be.
Well, once again, make sure to follow him on TikTok, Instagram, X. Follow Meet Us in the Ring on all that stuff. Subscribe to the podcast. We're almost to 600, I think, which is crazy. So make sure to do that, and we will see you guys next Sunday. Bye.